Peace. So it's Nattyisisyah, and I want to make this video today to talk about women trying to stop their period. I've been hearing a lot about this lately, and it seems like it is picking up a lot more attention, right? Women, why do you want to stop your period? Why is it that you want to stop your monthly menstrual flow, right? Where do we get this idea from that it is okay and it is normal to want to stop your period? Um, I guess I'll go through a little background and maybe talk about where I first heard about this and, what I set out to do when I first heard about this, what my reaction or response was. But first, I'm going to share this out a little more. So if you're watching, please do the same. Just give me a second. Okay, so I just want to make sure everything's working, and I'm gonna post the links so this can be shared in a minute. Um, but yeah, why is it you want to stop your period? Where did you first hear about this? Um, who introduced you to the concept, and how is it that you plan on going about stopping your period? And I don't think it's something that it's not really a joking matter. It is, I think, something that is okay for everybody to have these thoughts and to think about. I think it's natural, it's normal to want something that possibly is causing you pain to stop. Why not? But I think some more thought definitely needs to be going into this, like as far as the origins of this concept goes. We need to think about that a little more. So, still working on getting this link up here. Okay, I think I got it. So, I'm gonna share this on Google Plus, wherever else I can get it up. Um, because I think a lot of it too has to do with how we view our period, how we see this. Let me post it, and I just need to make sure that this is listed because initially I had it as unlisted. So let me just go and do that. And then once I do that, we'll get right in. So yeah, let's even think about that. How is it that you view your period? Is this something that is a curse? Is it something that, you celebrate, something that you look down upon? And even if you say, you celebrate it, where did you get that concept from? Is it something that your mother does? Your family has been doing it? How do you celebrate it? Right? Because, it's a lot of trends, and it can be very trendy to say, I celebrate my period. But really, since when? So let's think about that a little bit too. Okay, so one more time with the sharing, and then we'll go in. And I do have a little group on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook like that, but every now and then I will. See, I think it's giving me a link that I have to share, so I'm going to share this link one more time. Get this in. Yeah, every now and then I'll go on there. I don't really mess around on there too much. I think we need to create, you know, smaller circles of people who are really open. And if you can't, if Facebook is not a platform for that, then, you know, We need a group where we can really discuss what it is that we want to talk about freely, uncensored. And unfortunately, this platform is not even necessarily becoming or being that. So, you know, when we can get into the right place where we could talk more freely and more openly, I think we can get past a lot of taboos and a lot of issues that basically block us in so many ways. It's ridiculous. And this is where even just discussing simple menstrual issues comes into play, because sometimes you do need that privacy, sometimes you do need that one-on-one, and you know, where it's not going to be taboo. Okay, so just checking that this is actually unlisted now, because initially it was not. And then, okay, so it's showing that I'm live, which is what we want to see. Okay, but I also need to share it, so I'm just gonna share it on Twitter, and then we'll get in. Get in. I said I'm sharing on Twitter. I might want to share it on Instagram. I might want to share it everywhere else too. But yeah, because I want to kind of like get to the root of this, you know. And I know I might not be able to do this in one video, but I do want to begin the process. And so that's what we're gonna do. Copy. So yeah, you know, I think things like this, we don't necessarily talk about it enough. So it's good to kind of like take time and talk about it. And like normally I would do a actual video so I don't have to be taking up too much time or people's time, you know, sharing the video and everything. But I figure I will give these lives a try, you know, put more into these lives and see how that goes. So now I'm gonna do Instagram shawty. Okay. So hopefully I'm logged in. So where are these concepts coming from? You know, so I guess like I said, for me, when I first heard about, I mean, let's just start with when I first got my period. I first got my period very early at 9 years old. And I think some of that was travel induced. Like I got my period. Well, first I got it, you know, at home. I was still at home, but then I traveled to Jamaica, and it came down on me there, and I was with my dad. So that was an experience in and of itself. And I think I got it back one more time when I came back, and I really wanted that thing to end. I didn't want it. I didn't want to have no period no more. I didn't want nothing to do with it. But you know, obviously it hurt. You know, at that point it did. And here, let me just share this. I'm not gonna do too much. So yeah, I wanted that thing to end. 9 years old, didn't know what this thing was really good for, and it hurt, and I wanted it to stop. Fast forward, which is what's really bringing me to make this video, is that this period, I was actually looking forward to it. Like I was actually excited about finding out when my period was going to be, which is so unusual. Usually I just, you know, usually I don't even know when it's, not that I don't know when it's going to come, but usually like I don't have any cramps, I don't have any PMS, I don't have none of that stuff. So, you know, I really just find out as it comes. But this time I was like 3-4 days prior to it, I was like, man, where's my period? When is it coming? And I don't know why. It's like almost like I wanted to do some type of ritual, but I really never had nothing in mind. I really didn't have no real set plan about what I was going to do if my period, you know, came within the next few days. So I'm just finding some hashtags to share this on Instagram because I am the hashtag goddess. Okay. Little do you know. But yeah, so I was really looking forward to my period this month. And it just so happened to come down during this full moon. And surprisingly, I did see a lot of other sisters making videos about their period with this full moon. And I thought that was so interesting because I have, within the last 3 months, I've only really been seeing scarce videos of people making about, um, their period or, any type of rituals related to it. So this time, when I seen that, I was like, oh, I should make a video. I should do some type of ritual. I'm like, I'm not even gonna push myself. I'm just gonna, enjoy this experience right now. It's totally in sync. I know some sisters are trying to get their period to be in sync with the full moon. For those who don't want to just stop it altogether, are they're actually they want to get their period in sync and all this stuff. So um I said let me just keep this sacred. you know I don't have to go broadcasting, oh, I'm bleeding right now and all of that. um but nonetheless, I was looking forward to it, and that was something different to me, and I think something really happened. I think that I got to a point in my life where I realized the value of dysfunction, the value of this process. And a lot of that might have to do with a lot of things I've been reading lately, and a lot of things I've been doing, a lot of things going on in my life every day, like you can even imagine. And we're not going to talk about that here, but I was looking forward to it this month, and it was like, I'm glad that I did. So I'm just going to continue sharing for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to talk about the reasons why you want to stop your period. So that's what we're here to talk about right now. That's why you're here. Um, One more place that I want to share that, and we're good to go. So again, too, if you're watching, please just hit the share button, hit the like button, because I do think you are going to like this video. And if you're listening right now, you might be one of the lucky ones who get to hear the little intro, because I might cut all the other stuff out, all this sharing and all this other things out. So yeah, I did mention that I had a Facebook group that I'm trying to, work towards dedicating to talking about the period a little more. And, I might put that in the link. I'm not sure whether, how far I want to go with that. But let me just tell you what it is in case you want to look it up. It is going to be private to just women. So, but right now it's open. So if you search for Sacred Womb Blood, you will find the like page that I'm going to be working on. And if you search for Dark Goddess Monthly Womb Blood Rituals, you will find it. I will put those links in maybe later on, because I actually made a change in a correction. So something, it looks like it was not updated or posted yet. So once I make that correction, I'll post it either in this live chat or in the comments after the live video is done. Um, so here we go. So yeah, Dark Goddess Monthly Womb Blood Rituals is the group, and Sacred Womb Blood is the like page. So go check those out, so that way if I do, take this any further, that's where I will be posting the information. Um, just dealing with this, getting this on here. I know, of course, I'm getting a phone call, so hold on. Okay, so I'm back and I'm still sharing. Honestly, when you see people share their videos and they get it out to all these platforms, it's a lot of work. And I guess I could have did this before I actually made it live, but you know, I don't normally do these lives. So again, getting used to it, we'll get better at it, and we'll be able to deliver this a little better. Um, okay, I think this is okay. Let me just copy this. Post that. Yeah, I definitely want to get this out of the way so we could just go in and talk about this because I know I'm bringing stuff up, but I feel like I don't want to miss anything just because I'm so um, focused on sharing. Okay. Okay, so that's shared. One more thing to do. Okay. It's a lot. One more thing to do, one more thing to do, one more thing to do, because I also want to make sure the playback is all right and everything's working fine. Um, let's see here. Um, okay. Let's see here. All right, so now we can get in. Now that I've gotten this pretty much out the way, pretty much covered. So always something. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, for me, again, when I first got my period, I was very young, um, and it hurt. I was feeling some type of way, and it wasn't to me. It wasn't really the worst type of menstrual pain. It wasn't really the worst. I don't even know if I really experienced cramps. I just remember feeling that this thing hurted and I wanted it to stop and I wanted it to go away and my life to get back to normal, to just, be able to do what I wanted to do again without having to worry about these little issues going on between my legs and between my womb. So of course that never really happened, but it did kind of disappear for a little bit, and then it came back when I went to Jamaica, and I think it even stopped for a little bit after that. But like I did have instances where I'd be playing on the swing. I'm in elementary school, or yeah, I'm in elementary school, and I'm playing on the swing, and I'm bleeding, and I'm playing with my friends, right? So that was kind of like I couldn't explain that at the time, and nobody, of course, nobody's probably wasn't expecting me for me to get my period at 9 years old. Teachers is not really explaining nothing to you, so you just have this to deal with, right? So again, fast forward to now, and like let me even go in between that. I had a friend one time. She used to get really bad menstrual pain, and we worked together at a restaurant, and like she would get period pains to the point where she would have to take time off work or just stop working. For me, my menstrual pain obviously it did progress into a worse situation where I was taking Tylenol several times a day. I was taking Advil several times a day. Um, I'd be just sitting at school, just basically balled up during lunch and recess, just short of crying, just short of wondering, why my life is so miserable. Um, but nevertheless, you know, I still had the strength, and I still was, I still wanted to get out of the house, and I still wanted to do things like normally, right? Um, but eventually, the Tylenol stopped working, and you have to remember, I'm taking Tylenol from I'm 9 years old, 10 years old, Advil 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up until I would say about 16 or 17. And by that time, it had no effect. The one Tylenol wasn't working, the one Advil, whatever, the extra strength was not working. None of these things were working. Um, I started just having to bear the pain. Literally, I just started having to bear the pain, and it was some pain. And it wasn't as bad as me saying, okay, well, I'm not going to go to work, or I'm not going to go to school, or I'm not going to try to do things normally. I never really did take the time off that now people talk about, who are more aware of using that time during your menstruation to relax and to not do the house chores and to not do that. No, I continued life as normal, right? But I buried the pain. And it's like, I don't think a lot of people can do that type of thing, but it's like, this became something that I had to deal with. I had to bear menstrual pain from early on. I had to bear headaches. I was getting headaches from early on, and I had to bear other things that was going on. I just dealt with it, right? So I just carried that on over into my menstrual pain arena or realm, right? And it's like, the talent, if these things are not working for me, I'm not going to continue to search for stronger and stronger drugs out of a bottle that I don't even know what these stuff are. So I did start to become even more conscious and aware of, drugs and their effect on me, which, is probably why, or probably contributes to why I became a vegan so early, or at least vegetarian at the time. Just very self-conscious. Me getting my period at an early age made me very self-conscious. So I want you to take note of that. Um, and very self-aware, very just conscious of my body, my being, right? And a lot of things. So before I get too far off, I do want to kind of stay in track. So yeah, so like this time around, I was looking forward to my period, which, like I said earlier, that's something that I really never experienced before. I never really experienced, like, I can't wait to bleed. Like, I'm looking forward to having to feel, maybe possibly feel something, because as of lately, I really don't feel cramps. I don't feel cramps lately. I don't. Let me tell you, when when the Tylenol had stopped working and the Advil was not working, my own, and bearing the pain just felt a little too much. The only relief that I had ever had was having to go to the bathroom to, excrete stool. Right? That was the only relief. Once I used the bathroom and eliminated all of that, I was in total bliss. I was in relief, finally. Right? And sometimes tea would work. Like, I might get my brother to make me some tea, which was like a godsend, a lifesaver, a black godsend, by the way. And those are like the only senses of relief that I have, right? Now, I don't have period pain anymore. I don't have cramps anymore like that. I don't have, um, like, I just don't have that debilitating feeling like, oh, I just have to deal with the pain. Oh, I just have to bear it. No, it's like, now I'm like, I don't know, something changed, something clicked, something was like, man, this period thing can be exciting. It could be something to celebrate. And I know that sounds gross, because that's how I thought about it at first when I was just seeing these white women talking about their free bleeding. I'm like, you're doing what? You're just bleeding in your pain. You actually want to do this, right? But it's like, now it's like, I kind of feel like I don't even use pads no more. Let me go like that. I don't even buy pads. Always Tampax, whatever those stuff are. I don't buy them. I don't contribute to that economy. I don't have to. I don't have to. Right. So here's the thing. Why I'm even talking about all this is because when I hear sisters talk about they want to stop their period, a lot of times when I'm hearing this, it's like I have to wonder, why do you want to stop your period? Because I forget that I don't have cramps. I forget that I used to have cramps. I forget that I used to be popping pills to stop the pain. I forget that I had a friend who couldn't go to work and couldn't go to school, and her whole life stopped once a month for 5 days. I forget that my periods used to be 7 days. I forget that I had my period since I was 9. That's you talking about. How old am I? Like, it's not exactly anywhere near 20 years, but my gosh, right? I forget that I had a period for, say, at least 15 years, right? And yeah, so now when I do hear sisters say, why, they want to stop their period, I'm like, why? But it's like, I have to remember. And this time around, looking forward to my period, I'm, also more conscious of a lot of things. I'm able to bring it more into full circle. And it's that whatever clicked that made me look forward to my period this time has made me say, like, it's like I got more compassion for those sisters. And it's not that I don't have compassion, because I've been through all of that, but for not having the period pain, so let me tell you, it can do something to you. It could just have you feeling like, whew, it's a breeze. Like, you could, man, give me 10 periods. Don't do that, but you get me? So I guess what I'm saying is too is like, I kind of want to help, and I kind of want to get to the bottom of it. And I want other sisters to be able to experience the relief and the joy and the bliss, right, that I'm experiencing. That this thing that comes once a month is not the end of the world, right? I can still put on, I can still do what I want to do, basically. So again, when I hear sisters talk about they want to stop their period, I think what we need to do more is look at the reason why. Because it's one thing to say, I want to stop my period, and it's another thing to actually make that into a reality. So what are you going to do into making that a reality? And before you even make it into reality, if you don't have a reason why you want to make that into a reality, it's not going to happen. Because if you don't have a strong urge and desire, right, to make you want to do these things, it's just talk. It's just talk at the end of the day, right? And even to get to a place where I'm at, I had to do more than talk. Sure, I wasn't on this path of like, oh, I want to stop my period. Although I did have an incident where there was some time in my life where these thoughts or these awarenesses came to my mind, and I was like, I want to stop my period. I want to self-impregnate myself. I went through this, and this was before social media. This is before I had the internet. This is before the Black Womanist Guide all over the YouTube, all over the internet. This is before I was even online. This is before any of that, right? So what I'm saying is, it can be a very natural process for a woman to want to play around with these ideas, right? But you have to put action into that, and and then another thing is we have to really identifying why. You can kind of get to the root of, are you just being superficial? Because a lot of times it seems as though we are just being superficial. And let me give you an example. A lot of times when I hear sisters say that, they want to stop their periods, again, very little reason is given as to why you want to do this. And then number two, when we do hear some semblance of a reason why, it's usually because they heard that so-and-so period stopped because so-and-so is vegan. Or, I've even heard stories like when I was, younger, about how, this one friend, how her cousin never got a period. But when you get down deeper to it, the reason why she, quote unquote, never got a period was because she was always pregnant. And if anybody knows, when you are pregnant, you are not really supposed to get a period. So, you see, we can get into this whole catch-22 type situation, which is why your why is important, because the universe will listen to you. If you just say, oh, I just want to stop my period, something might happen and you might not get your period. What's the something that's going to happen? But, so one of those somethings that can happen is that you just have babies for the rest of your life. And that's beautiful, That's possibly one reason why we get our periods is for nature to help us to promote ourselves, to promote reproducing ourselves through childbirth. So if you really like say before, way before the internet, way before all this social media, way before there ever was a period on, a pad on sale somewhere, when we're still maybe living a little bit more primitively or a little more in tune with nature, or just, non-commercially, right? Non-materialistically. Before all that, having your period might have been a way to get you to reproduce. And then once you realized, hey, every time I have a baby, I don't get a period. The last time I got a period was when I didn't have a child, or when I wasn't pregnant. Oh my goodness, let me go and get, have a baby. So that's one way to not have your period. And that's a very realistic way. Very, very realistic, right? And there are other very, very realistic ways to not have your period every single month, or for some of you, possibly more than that. And that's why we need to talk about why. Because some of you are having a period, or what appears to be a period, more than once a month. Some of you are bleeding twice a month. Some of you are bleeding 3 times a month. Some of you are bleeding 4 times a month. Some of you are bleeding throughout the months, month to month to month to month, back to back, in terrible pain. Right? And I want to know how many of you are experiencing that. So how many, is that your reason why? Is this why you want to stop your period? Do you want to stop your period because your period won't stop? Do you want to stop your period because it's causing you cramps? Right? Are you thinking about stopping your period because you get pimples? You get period related acne, menstrual related acne, before your period comes, you break out. So this makes you want to just stop everything else going down there, so that, your face could look beautiful. Even though if you have pimples, it's not really the end of the world. Do you want to stop periods because you get period related headaches? Do you want to stop your period because you start to bloat? Do you want to stop your period because it's messy? Right? And I'm trying to tell you, if that is your reason why to stop your period, there's ways to eliminate that. There's ways to stop your period from being messy. And so again, it's like, think about why you want to stop your period, and don't underestimate what I'm telling you here, because this can help you to get to the state that I'm in, to get to the place where I'm at right now as it relates to my period, where I'm like looking forward to my period. I'm like, let me see how I could, set up a group. Like, nobody just gets up one day and says, I want to create a group where we can all talk about the joys of our period. Nobody just gets up one day and talks about, like, oh, let me just set up a group so we can talk about the rituals of bleeding. Who makes videos just like, oh, come on, sisters, why do you want to stop your period? What's wrong with you? Nobody really does that, right? So it's like, obviously, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, right? So think about your reasons why. Luckily, I didn't have to go through all of that. But when I do look back, and when I look forward, I see how this can help you, right? So, if you want to stop your period because you get PMS, that's another thing to think about and to meditate on. Do you want to stop your period because of this? And so ultimately what I'm saying is that sisters saying they want to stop their period, if you're saying you want to stop your period, it's not a one size fit all type of scenario. So if more than one sister is saying they want to stop their period, there's something individual to each and every one of you, right? And that's what you need to focus on. So when you get your why, you're going to get your answer. You can get your answer that way, right? So I don't want to go back to the superficiality part about it, because I don't want you to, I'm not letting you off the hook. Like I said, I've heard a lot of sisters say that they want to stop their period because so-and-so period stopped because she was vegan, because she's very athletic, because Again, she's always pregnant, right? So if you notice, these people didn't just, their period didn't just stop. Something happened, right? These sisters were doing something for their period to stop. They were either one, having babies, which is, these are just the most common, these are the three most common reasons how I've heard women get their period to stop. They were having babies, one, right? They were highly active, two, they were vegan, three, right? And I seen a sister one time say that she wanted to stop her period by going vegan. And I had to ask her something like, I can't remember exactly everything I asked her, but basically I was saying, is the reason why you want to stop your period by going vegan realistic? Because it's possible that that sister whose period stopped, or who you heard about whose period stopped because she went vegan, she could have been, she could have, what you call it, not been eating right. You see what I mean? She could have had other issues, right? So it's one thing for your period to just stop, and it's another thing for your period to stop for a purpose. And even if it just stops, it's stopping for a reason. It's stopping either because something is wrong with you or something is right with you, or there's some type of cause and effect there, right? So that's basically what I'm trying to get to, is your reason why. I'm not letting you off the hook with that. Again, not letting you off the hook without a reason why, or the reason why are dealing with the superficial aspect. And because even if you say you want your period to stop because you heard that so and so went vegan, you going vegan is not necessarily going to get your period to stop. If you say you want your period to stop because so and so became physically active, you just taking a walk once a day, is not going to equate to you being as physically active as that sister. And I did know a sister when I was, younger, who did not get a period because she was really fit. She almost looked like a boy. She pretty much was a tomboy, and as physically active as I was and as tomboyish as I was, it was nowhere near as physically active as this sister was. So she didn't get a period. Or, at least so we hear. So it's like we're hearing things and we don't really know how true it is. We don't know, right? So we have to stop in a certain sense of idolizing, these other people's situations, right? And kind of focusing on our own. And how you do that is by focusing on the why. Why is it that you want this? Do you really want this, right? So let's see. So yeah, if you can get to the reason of why, then right, then it's like we can go further. We can go beyond that. And in a minute, I'm gonna see if I can get a little presentation to show up, which I might be able to do. So, but I want to share this just a little bit more. But yeah, you have to get to the root of that. Otherwise, you're kind of pipe dreaming, just being superficial, and it's not to insult anybody. Sometimes you might need to be a little superficial to get to wake up, to realize what it is that you're doing. Is it realistic? Is this beneficial? Is this helping you, right? And it's like, if you have a reason why, it can make it just makes things that much easier. It brings clarity. It brings things into perspective. You can you can develop a plan of action now because you had a why. which you might not have had if you're just going based on somebody else's life, right? And what their experiences were, and you know, how you feel about it. So definitely work on that. And I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more in this video. I'm just trying to share this here. So don't leave yet. But you know what? I got a link right now in the description, so we can talk more about this. And when I put up videos specifically about this, you can get a notification. So if you click the link in the description and you subscribe by adding your email to the link that talks about the womb blood ritual. See, it says subscribe to my womb blood rituals, right? And it's from women only. Go figure. I mean, if men want to join this thing, you know, you can watch the videos and perhaps help somebody else who this could benefit, right? So here's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on posting this link. You know, cause what if you know, you think about your why, and it's like I could just make the rest of the video just saying that why. Because we do a lot of things and we don't really give too much thought into why it is that we want this, right? So it's like you can't ask why enough, and your why, it can continue to grow and it continue to evolve, right? And that's the beauty of this. It can continue to grow and to evolve into something else where, you know, you could be at this place, you know, where I'm at, where you could help others. You could help others to find out what is, you know, their reason why. That makes sense of what's going on with them, right? So I am posting this. And if you could do the same, that will help before we get into talking a little bit more about this. You know? So it's like, and then when you hear, that's another thing, when you hear other sisters, ask them why. Why do you want to stop your period? Like, you know, we're not men, for one, if, you know, that makes it any clearer. But, you know, we're meant to have this thing. This thing is meant to happen to us. It's meant for us to have our period. You know, so why stop that? It's like the things that happen to us are happening for a reason, or the things that happen through us, with us, is happening for a reason. So we should be able to come to a place in our life where it's like we can kind of accept what comes, right? And come what may, right? It doesn't have to be the end of the world. And if you can get to your reason why you want to stop your period, you might find out, you, like I said, you're gonna get the answer. If you want to stop your period because you have heavy menstrual bleeding, your why is going to be like, I want to stop my period because I have heavy menstrual bleeding. Now we're going to look at, why do you have heavy menstrual bleeding? How come all these other women don't have the same type of symptom, the same type of experience, right? And so now you might be able to work on your heavy menstrual bleeding. How can I get past having heavy menstrual bleeding? How can I not have heavy menstrual bleeding during my period? And maybe then you might be like, oh, well, if I eat a lighter diet, less meat, more fruits and vegetables, if I become vegan, you know, if I drink more water, if I exercise, you know, you can get your answer. If you're talking about cramps, same thing. You know, how come this sister doesn't have cramps? What are they doing differently? You might find out that, you know, they're not eating something. They're not eating fast food from a particular restaurant, or, you know, that You know, they eat more of this particular vegetable or this particular fruit. They might, you know, be drinking a lot of smoothies. Um, they just might not be as stressed out throughout the month. Um, you know, possibly doing different detoxes, womb cleanses, you know, just anything, anything different. You want to find out what it is, right? And that's what's going to help you. Um, if it's pimples that makes you want to stop having your period, do you really have to stop having your period to stop having breakouts? To stop, you know what I mean? So it's like, is there a way that you could still have your period, but stop all of the problems associated with it? To stop all of the things that you don't like from being associated with it, where you can get to a point where you can use your monthly ritual, this thing that is supposed to happen, this thing that can, you know, is like a major function of the female body, where you can actually get more in tune with that and possibly use that to your benefit. So that's where I'm kind of going with this. Is like, if I could get to this place, where can we go past this? You know, because I don't think women always hated their period. I mean, there was a time when there were, again, no pads in the store. What were we doing then, right? In other cultures, women are not. They may not necessarily. They're not necessarily eating a vegan diet. You get me? They're not necessarily highly physically active. Um, what are they doing to not have to feel this same type of way about their period every month? You know, is there something that somebody else is doing where they're actually celebrating their menstrual cycle? And there are several women who are celebrating their menstrual cycle, several cultures where women are celebrating their menstrual cycle. So we have to get to a point of realizing how to get there. Because it's like, when we can get there, it's like, now you have women who can be in sync, right? Who can be proactive about their menstrual cycle. Because you have women as well who their cycles naturally sync up when they're amongst each other, because they're amongst each other. Their cycles naturally sync up. So it's like, something like that can click even in those women in these remote cultures and be like, oh, all our cycles link up. This is powerful. What can we do with this magic, right? So it's like, can we get to the same place? Can you get to the same place? Once you get past your period, cramps, heavy bleeding, pimples, bloating, what other issues related, you know, is coming down before you're supposed to go on a vacation, or before you participate in some type of presentation, you know, um, what can we do? You know, once we get past all that, then what do we? How can we use this menstrual flow, right? So it's kind of like, stop thinking about, you know, being a victim again of your own body, because you don't have to be a victim of your own body. This thing can work in your benefit. This is where we're going with this. So yeah, that's another thing. Some sisters want their period to stop so that they can put on a bikini and go swim, you know, and you know, is that your reason why this once in a lifetime probably event? Because not too many people is really taking advantage of the life that we're living to really, you know, go to the beach or go swimming and, you know, have fun and celebrate. So the one time you get to celebrate is when your period comes, and because of that, you want this thing to end. But what about all the things that is stopping you from celebrating, from being able to celebrate life? Why don't you want that to end? Those are the things that we should want to end. Is the things that are hindering us from celebrating our life, right? So I think that's probably like the most powerful message that I have probably to give you, and probably the most powerful message that I have received through this awakening, which I personally would not have received if it was not for Black supremacy, because Black supremacy has allowed me to have the space, the time to meditate, to have for these thoughts and these divine meditations to come to me, right? So that is the main thing. Now, again, what is it that's stopping you from being able to celebrate life? That makes you want to stop a process of your body, an important function of your body. Instead of stopping my period, I think that school should stop. If I get my period and I have to take a week off school, that school needs to stop. If I get my period and I have to take a week off work because I can't go to work because my period and my intense cramps, and no, work is what needs to stop. If I cannot go to this this function or this gathering because I'm on my period and I'm just irritable, I'm in pain, there's blood everywhere, the pads don't work. No, that function needs to stop. That seminar needs to stop. That which is stopping me from being able to celebrate my life needs to stop. I've seen sisters talking about they can't go on vacation, or they want to stop so that they can go on vacation, and they don't want this thing to come down because it's supposed to come down the day they're supposed to be on vacation doing this at a parade or something. No, you're supposed to be there every day. You're supposed to be celebrating doing that every day. What you call vacation is what your life's supposed to look like every day. All that other stuff that happens where you can only take off time to go at that particular week during your monthly period, that's what needs to stop. That's what needs to get out the way. The period, welcome to period. Come on. Anytime you're ready. Anytime you're ready. Come on. Right? Anytime. But the other stuff is what needs to be pushed out the way. So how can we live a life more freeing? You get me? Where what is naturally supposed to come can come. What's naturally supposed to flow from me is supposed to come. Why am I going to stop my flow? Why are you trying to stop your flow? That's your flow. That is your, you can't, it doesn't, come on. Even how we speak is telling you something. This is your flow. This is your natural flow. This is what's supposed to come. That other stuff needs to get out the way. And this is where you, as a woman, as a, as someone who holds this type of power, needs to think, these are the levels that you need to be thinking on. It's like, okay, well, if this thing is anti-me, why am I giving my energy to it? Why am I giving my service? Why am I putting on these bleached menstrual pads made out of reused, recycled trash that really is not really working? It's not absorbing. And I really have to question, if you're coming out with a new pad every 2 months, at least every year, why is this thing? Why am I still bleeding? Why is it still getting on the pants? Why is it still getting all over the place? Something's wrong with that pad. Something is wrong with these companies who are making these products presumably on purpose to not work. That's going to just, when I go to this place to deliver a seminar, to deliver a lecture, now I'm bleeding through my pants and I have to carry another extra pants or another extra skirt or extra dress in my bag that's already filled with other feminine hygiene products and is already filled with other overtaxed and overpriced women's products, just so I could feel confident and comfortable delivering this speech and this message to a bunch of people who all, by default, are supporting a system who is anti-us and who is anti-me. No. All that needs to get out of the way. All of that needs to get out of the way. Where my body can be celebrated and what's going on through me right now can be celebrated. The message I should be giving is, look, I am bleeding right now. All the women in here who are in sync with me right now, we're all in tune. Come on, let's use this power and harness this energy to bring the earth and the planet and our minds back into the state of where it needs to be, right? Let's get away with all this stuff that is harming us, is causing us more hurt and more pain and more stress and more embarrassment and more frustration, right? Let's get that stuff out of the way where we could, see each other for who we are, meet eye to eye, and, work on our love that we have for each other, right? That's what needs to happen instead of just this, I want my period to stop so that I'm not embarrassed, so that I don't have to feel pain. So, I don't have to, tell so and so that we can't link up tonight because I'm bleeding. So, and he don't even understand because he's not even going to know what the hell you're talking about. All he hears is you're bleeding and then he's gone. He needs to go. Those type of situations. Like, and then, even for the men, it's like the society is in such a way where it's like men don't even really understand what a woman goes through. So he's been given mixed messages because you're not going to just tell some of you sisters are so embarrassed about bleeding. You're not going to tell him, I'm having a period right now. I'm sorry. I tend to have a very heavy period and I tend to get, extreme headaches, bloating, pimple. I just feel disgusting right now. You're going to make some shit up. Excuse my French, but you're going to make some story up that's going to throw him off instead of just being real, honest, and correct, where, he can at least make the decision whether he wants to accept you or not. And then, you can kind of really meet each other eye to eye. But this is the society we live in such a mixed up society where it's like a lot of mixed messages being sent because you're not being true, honest, and real and correct with yourself, right? And, by default, a lot of good relationships could be ended that way. A lot of relationships that could have flourished and bloomed into something really good are thrown away, even because of this little thing called the period that is just so misunderstood and just such a taboo because nobody wants to deal with the reality of it, right? So why do you want to stop your period? Is it because, a man does not want to be with you during that time of the month and you want to be able to sleep with everybody during that time? I don't know. You know what I mean? Are you trying to get an extra week in there of bumping and grinding? Going to the club? Why? Because some that might be a reason why some women want to stop their period. Let's be honest. You might want to stop your period because your cycle is irregular. It doesn't have to be all that. You just might. It just might be so unpredictable that it comes down on you, and at the most unlikely time, even when you got it down to a schedule, right? And then it just comes right after you got it. It comes back again. So you might want to end your period because of the timing, because it's irregular, right? Because you're bleeding more than once a month. If you're bleeding more than once a month, and you start to really analyze and jot down these reasons why, you might see that, okay, wait, hold on a second, that might not be a period. That was a period, but that other thing right there, I don't know what that was, right? Right. So, an irregular period is kind of up there with a prolonged period. So you might want to stop your period because it's too long. You might want to stop your period because it's too irregular, right? So you need to think about that, right? Neither one of those situations are necessarily good for you. If your period is too long, you might got something else going on. So I think wanting to stop your period just because it's too long and you want to be able to go here, go there, do this or do that, you might have other issues. If it's irregular, again, you might have other issues. So And just being vegan is not necessarily going to solve these issues. Just being a little more physically active is not going to solve those issues necessarily. And just trying to get pregnant because you know that that's going to help you not have your period anymore is not necessarily going to solve those issues. So you know, meditate why it is that you want to stop your period, and like be realistic with yourself, right? Don't just play the lotto and just hope that, oh well, you know, I'm just gonna, if I just, you know, do what I heard that this person did, I'm just gonna stop my period. You know, be more realistic. Why is it you want to stop your period, and work on that why, that reason why it is that you say that you want to stop your period. Because that can reveal and open up the door to a whole lot of other things that might be going on with you in your life, right? Where you can benefit yourself in that way, be able to help other people, right? And, you know, get to the point again where it is that you can celebrate having your period. Because there's nothing wrong with having your period. If you're having a period for 7 days, I can see why you might want to stop your period. If you're having a period for 2-3 months, I can see why you want to stop your period. But stopping the period is not your problem. Having a period is not why you're having your period for 3 months. Having a period is not why you're having your period for 7 days. You know, it's other things that you're doing that's more likely causing that, right? And then, you know, I wanted to talk about, you know, obviously the benefits of having a period and all that, but I think I'm just going to save that for another video, right? And again, but what I will say is that if you really seriously are talking about having no period, I want to say for all these sisters listening is that you will get to a point where you will have no period. And guess what? When that day comes, you might be wishing you could have your period all over again. You might want to take that all back, because when that day comes, you're not having no period no more. It's something called menopause. And a lot of you sisters are not ready for menopause. So if headaches bother you, if, you know, messy pants bother you, if cramps bother you, if pimples bother you, you know, if bloating bothers you now, wait till menopause. You know, it's pretty much the same thing with, you know, trying to have a baby to not get a period. Like people can really do this. I could really see sisters just be like, oh, I'm gonna get pregnant, so I don't have to have a period for 9 months, possibly 12. Yeah, you're talking about delivering a whole baby. You're talking about hard labor. You're talking about labor. You're talking about bloating from, you know, possibly day 1 till day 200 and what is it, 90 something, 290, 200, I think it's 285 days of pregnancy. But you're talking about bloating for all of those days. If you're trying to get pregnant just to not have a period, you're talking about cramps for at least the last 3 months. You get me? And, you know, definitely I'm not saying you should not have a baby. Go ahead and have the baby. I'd rather you have a baby to possibly not have a period than just do some other crazy stuff to not have a period. Like take pills, some stuff that you don't know what its effect is on your body, and you're just messing around with your hormones. I would stay clear of that. And again, do your research on why, and, you know, just be wise. You get me? Be wise. You have a womb, and you are supposed to be in tune with your womb instead of just playing these games with these medical facilities and these industries, you know, just trying to sell you a product. As you can see here, I'm not selling you a product. I ain't got nothing to sell right now. You know, maybe in the future I might put something up that you can maybe donate to or whatever. But that's not my goal here. My goal here is to get you to a place right now where I'm at, where I'm like, man, life is good. You know, periods, I don't have period problems. And let me tell you what I do have though. I do have moments where I cleanse, my body cleanses. And it seems in some cases to align itself to when I do have my period. So those instances now, those might be, I might experience a lot of issues with that. I might experience some pain, but it's not necessarily pelvic pain. I might experience some pain. It's not necessarily womb pain. I might experience more of like a drawing from my legs, or more like a certain type of pressure in my back, right? And it's more like a cleansing, like my body cleanses itself. I've been noticing this about for maybe 5 years or so. my body has like its own natural cleansing where it does this thing like 3 or 4 times a year, and it will just like my whole stomach will just get flat. I don't know if it's stress induced or anything like that, but my body will just do this radical cleanse every now and then. And it did coincide with my menstrual this month. Um, but that's not enough for me to want to be like, I'm stop my period, because I understand what's going on. I understand my body is cleansing, and this is something that needs to happen. I'm not one of those people who necessarily are a cleanse junkie. Like, I'm not taking these teas and taking these herbs and doing all this stuff to cleanse. However, by default, because of the diet that I eat and my lifestyle, I do kind of do a lot of cleansing things on a more daily basis. But consciously, I'm not out here, popping this cleansing tea, popping this cleansing herb or anything like that. So, it's just about being realistic with yourself. So I hope that this kind of puts a little end to these just like short-sighted um, comments, or just, I don't know. Like, I don't want to just come really put an end to it, but I want sisters to really start to like think about it more. Like, why? I see what you're saying, but why? Let's talk about why. Because when I was thinking about these things, they wouldn't know why. It was like how to. Some of you sisters not even thinking on how to stop your period. You're just like, I don't want to stop my period. Play, end the video. That's it. We never hear about that again. And I'm like, no, because it's you could possibly be sending somebody off into this, this realm where, who knows, maybe they could be thinking something is wrong with them because they do have a period. Like, it could get to that point where they could be hating themselves because they do have a period. And like, I'm not supporting no type of victimization, whether it's by default or on fault, your own fault, whatever the case may be. My whole thing is, let's talk about why. And I actually did not put the link for anybody who wanted to join this into the live stream, but I'll do that now just to see. But yeah, see it. And yeah, that's the main goal of this video is to help sisters to get to the reason why. And I think it's really going to help you all to get where it is that you're trying to get, because I haven't heard nobody really talk about why. I just heard people talk about, stopping their period. And it's like, when you go vegan, you might stop it for a few months, right? You might stop it for, you might stop your period temporarily, but then what? Then what? What do you do after that? What's life look like for you after? Why did you want to stop your period? What did you get out of stopping your period? Right? Okay, so I'm putting the link now. Okay, so the link is there in case anybody wants to join. You should be able to come up. And I'm gonna go back to this thing here. Okay, so yeah, if anybody wants to come up, talk about your reason why you want to stop your period, why you're watching the video. Have you had these thoughts about stopping your period? What have you heard about people trying to stop their period? What do you hope to get out of it? How do you view the period? Where's your idea? What are your thoughts? Where did these thoughts come from about how you view your period, the menstrual monthly cycle? Or how you view women when they're on their monthly cycle. I don't. I guess I'm a little. People might be curious about what the brothers think. For now, it's open to whatever it is, and then I'm gonna end this video soon and go continue celebrating life. Right. So. But yeah. So yeah, you definitely gotta think about that. It's like it gotta make sense. If it don't make sense, it don't make, you know, there's no purpose in going forward with it. And from the looks of it, you all ain't talking about nothing. Y'all ain't talking about nothing. Y'all ain't talking about nothing. All talk. Not trying to stop no period. You want that thing to come right back next month with more force, full force if necessary. And, you know, and not really be proactive. Is that what you want? Is that really what you want? I don't think that's really what you want. I think you want something, you want to do something about it. You want to be supported in being able to do something about it. You want to know that there's other people who feel and think this way. And you want to know that it's actually going to work towards your benefit by doing something about it. You want to be rewarded for doing something about it. Let's be straight. It's just basic human psychology. People don't want to do nothing for nothing. You know, unfortunately, we live in such a world where it's like capitalism is the usual something that you get for the damn near nothing that you do. Because we're, you know, in a certain sense, we're not really pushing ourselves to our fullest capacity, right? And that's why we just accept just these mediocre paths. We accept the mediocre physical education that they give us as far as periods and sexuality. You know, we accept this for our children because we know they're going to give them probably even less physical education than, you know, than we got, right? And we know that, you know, our children might grow up wanting to stop their periods and hitting their periods. It's like, why have we not set nothing up that's going to meet these, you know, these sisters, these youth where they're at, that's going to meet them in a way where they can celebrate their life. Imagine you're a black girl, right? And you being made fun of because of your nose, because of your skin color, because of your hair, the thickness of your lips, and then you got this thing gushing out of you. It's like, just take my life, just end it, just stop, right? So I'm gonna end this video on some final thoughts about thinking about why. It's Nattyisisyah. Join the website kingdomuncensored.com. Subscribe to the link in the bio about how to. Peace. Peace. You there? Okay. But yeah, subscribe to the link in the bio about how to stop your period. Right? So you can catch my other videos about this because I think I might go in a little more because I've been, you know, I've had since I was 9 years old to meditate on this. So you're going to be getting some quality content as far as this goes. I ain't just get my period. I ain't just getting the game at 18. I ain't just get my period at 21. Okay. So, but yeah. You know, I've had periods overseas. I had period girl. Anyways, peace. It's Nattyisisyah. Join the website again, kingdomuncensored.com, where we talk about a lot of radical issues such as this one and plenty more. Subscribe to my channel if you have not shared this video. I'm serious, share this video. Did you share yet? If you didn't share yet, it's like you can just, you know, what you want to do. You don't like it? You don't want to hear it? You might not want to subscribe to my page if you don't want to hear stuff like this, because I'm talking about stuff ain't nobody else talking about. Nobody else wants to talk about what I talk about. Nobody else is going through the stuff I go through to talk about the stuff I go through to talk about. So, you know, share this video so these messages can get out. Like, I'm talking about celebrating your life, what's going on with you, getting to a point of being able to harness our power and our energy. Why wouldn't you want to promote that? Why wouldn't you want to hype that up? Why wouldn't you want to big that up? Why wouldn't you want that out more? You just want people to be like in doom and gloom about your womb? Celebrating life here is part of Black supremacy. So, and if you don't like that, if you don't like Black supremacy, I see where you got problems. I see where you got problems. Continue with your white pads and your white rags. Well, they're gonna be red by the time you're done with them. But you know, my point is, You know, Black supremacy, we celebrate life and we take it to the next level. And, you know, that's why I can talk about this. I have time to meditate on this. I can go further and I can build on this in so many more ways. And it helps if you help. If not, I'm getting something out of this for me, myself. So I would hope that if you're getting something out of this, if you share this, just like I will share this, and I will share what you have, you know, obviously, if, you know, if it's something that is like new, refreshing, reviving that people need to hear, I share that stuff. So do the same. Um, and again, one more time, the link in the bio to hear more about this. Well, I'm going to give you emails. Click on that link, subscribe via email, because, you know, I don't play around with these social media. They are not for us. They don't like us. They trying to shut us down. At the end of the day, sometimes the only way we have contact via electronics, you know, other than the body, other than telecommunication, which you need hella meditation for that, Black supremacy, is through email. So that's the final thought. Focus on why. Why is this? Why you want to stop your period? Some of these mentions, these words, these ideas I've given, these examples I've given, go over them, see which one resonates with you. You know, what's resonating with you on why you want to stop your period. Anyways, let the flow grow. I don't want to get into it, right? But yeah, let the flow grow. Just like your afro, right? Anyways, Black supremacy.